Okay, so we're all familiar with warming up. We're all familiar with coming into the gym, maybe doing 5 minutes of cardio, and then getting into our workouts because we're nice and warm. Is that how we should be doing our warm ups? Is that an effective way to warm up? Not really. It's not exactly how we should be going about getting ready for workouts. And that's what this video is about, getting ready for workouts. What do we need to do? Well, the bare minimal that you need to do to get ready for a weights workout is to do weights light. So what do I mean by that? Say we're coming into the gym and we've got bench press lined up for the day and we've got our set weight of 60 kilograms. We're not just going to go straight into the gym, straight to the bench and do 60 kilograms for our first working set. That's not our order of processes. Our bare minimum process is that we do bench press light before we do bench press heavy. And this applies to pretty much all of our weights exercises. We do them light first to prepare our body for doing them heavy. Now, some movements we can go straight into because they are light exercises. So say, for example, we're doing an exercise where we're only going to be using like the 4 kilo dumbbells for a side raise. We probably don't need to warm up for a 4 kilo dumbbell. But if we're doing any exercise where we're using 8 kilos or more, I'd say that's the range where you do a warm up. So you're doing 8 kilo side raises. You might do a set with the 4 kilo, 5 kilo dumbbells to lock in for that movement. Now, what is the purpose of doing the exercise light first? Firstly, injury prevention, like lying down with a heavy set of dumbbells and going into a stretched position on your chest. You want to prepare your body for that. You want to limber up your body. And the best way you can limber up, warm up the body, warm up the joints is by moving the joints through the exact range you're going to do through the exercise for. So we need to warm up for every exercise as we get to it. Now, these exercises and these warm-ups will get less and less as the workout goes on because our body is going to be warmer and we're going to already have used those muscles. So if we're going from something like an RDL where we're stretching out our hamstrings, we're going to warm that up and build up to doing that. So we're warming up the muscle, we're activating certain enzymes in the muscle when we move it. When we do an exercise light, our body is triggering enzymes to be released that help the muscles to contract harder. So when you get to your working weight, you're going to be able to use more weight because your muscle is more prepared and ready, but your joints are also going to be more lubricated. And you're going to be able to move further through the movement. Like you've lubricated the joints and you've warmed up that muscle. You've kind of like pulled a rubber band out a little bit a few times to, just make your body a little bit more elastic so you can get into those positions a bit easier. So you'll be able to move through more range when you do a warm up and you use more weight when you warm up appropriately. But if you do your warm ups for your RDLs, so your hamstrings are already firing, you can probably go straight into your hamstring curls. But if you're going to a new muscle group, then you're probably going to have to warm up that muscle group. And the heavier weights you use, the more warm-ups you're going to have to do. So you're doing a heavy bench press, you're going to have to do 2, 3, 4 warm-ups for that. But you're doing a light dumbbell press with like the 10 kilo dumbbells, you might only have to do one warm-up for that to prepare your body for that movement. And the more you train, the more of a natural instinct you'll build for how many warm-ups you need to do. But a good range is you're using 8 to 15 kilos. You could probably get away with 1, maybe 2 warm-ups. Going from that 15 to 25 kilo range, you're probably going to use 2 warm-ups. 25 onwards, you're going to use at least 3, perhaps more. And alongside warming up more for heavier exercises, also warming up more for more stretched-based movements. So things like an RDL, where you're fully stretching out the muscle. Things like a dumbbell bench press, where you're really stretching out your pecs. Those sort of exercises, it's good to warm up because when you're in that stretched position, you are, yes, in the best position to build muscle, doing that lengthened stretch position, but you're also in a position that is more likely to lead to injury if you're not warming up. If you warm up, you're going to be nice and safe because your body's ready to be in that big stretched position. But if you don't warm up and just chuck a heavy 25 kilo dumbbells in that big stretched position for that bench press, that's when your pec tendons aren't going to be feeling nice and your shoulders aren't going to be feeling good. So always be warming up and preparing your body for the movements to come. That is the bare essential. If you're coming into the gym to do weights, you need to do the weights light before you do the weights heavy. That's the bare minimum for your warm-up. Do you have to do cardio first? Probably not. I can't say I've ever done a set on this treadmill before I go in to do the weights because I'm going in to do the weights. Living in Australia, training in commercial gyms or in my garage, it's never cold enough for me to need to increase my core body temperature. I just need to prepare my joints for the movements I'm going to be doing. So if you are very cold, yes, sure, warm up your body, do some light cardio first, but that's not going to be the most important thing for your warm up. The most important thing is doing the weights light first, so then you can get into it. But the second most important thing for warm up or preparing for exercise is if you have some sort of injury or lack of flexibility slash mobility, you need to prepare your body for a movement. So, say for example, we're doing an overhead press that requires us to get into a very tough position where we're reaching fully over our head, fully straightening up. We might need to do a warm up for this movement because that can be a hard position to get into if you lack certain shoulder mobility. If you can only normally naturally reach to this position, but we're going to be pressing to here, we're going to have to do some stretches so we can get to that position to perform the exercise correctly. So that's when you might incorporate some shoulder stretches into your routine. So you're doing some dead hangs, or you're doing some like shoulder circles to open up your shoulder mobility, or you've got some shoulder pain, so you have to wake up your rotator cuffs and the muscles that hold your shoulder in a good position. So you might be doing something like this. So we're doing some movements to prepare our body for the weight exercises to come. Say, for example, you struggle to sit down deep in a squat, so you need to work on your ankle mobility more. Then you're going to come over and you're going to do some calf stretches. So then when you go do your squats, your ankles let you go a bit further down so you can do proper deep squats. So depending on the movements you have for the day, you might have to do some stretches to allow you to get into good positions for the exercises that you're doing. Ideally, your workout shouldn't take too long. We all have busy lives and we want to spend most of our time in the gym doing the effective exercises that are going to get us the results. So we find ourselves having to do pretty long extended warm-ups just to be able to get through our workouts. Our workouts aren't appropriate. We should be able to do our workouts pretty easily. There shouldn't be big restrictions in the way. If we find we have to do a lot of stretching just to get to a certain movement, to do a certain exercise, that exercise might not be right at this time. There should be a way to dial it back so we can get to that exercise easier and get to stretch out of the strength training movements. We should be able to get a good calf stretch when we're doing our calf raises. So we don't have to do endless amounts of times stretching out our calves just to do like a set of squats. And if our shoulders can't fully reach to here yet, we're going to do exercises where we're just pushing where our shoulders can get to now, so we can eventually get to them to that position where they can fully open up and do a full overhead press. So as long as we have a good exercise selection, we should just be able to do our weights exercise light and then do them heavy. That is the most important part of our